Welcome to another episode of Clear Lake Connections, where we talk to the people behind the businesses and brands of Bay Area Houston. We are proudly sponsored by UTMB Health. Special guest today is Shannon Harms. She's a vice president here at Gulf Coast Educators Federal Credit Union, and she is an alum of Leadership Clear Lake.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Tell people a little bit about yourself and what you do at the credit union.
So yes, I've been here about 8 years here at Gulf Coast Educators, and I'm our Vice President of Member Solutions. So really, I just manage the support functions of the credit union, or whether that be finding solutions for our members with payments or card services, loan processing, those kinds of things.
And tell us a little bit about your experience with Leadership Clear Lake. It's a fantastic program. It's going to be kicking off in August. We do it every other year, so that we can time it up with the legislative session, and that's when it culminates. Tell us a little bit about your experience and what were some of the highlights that you got out of it?
I have a lot of highlights with Leadership Clear Lake. I think it was a wonderful program to go through, both personally and professionally. And I think one of the biggest highlights was really the foundation of the course, which was the insights that we did at the beginning of the program. And that just basically identified our leadership strengths and basically what color we were. So it assigned us a color, and then we were able to build relationships based on that. We were able to learn our leadership skills, our strengths, all of that based on that. And so I believe that gave us a good moving forward point in all of our other classes with Leadership Clear Lake, was having that first as the foundation and then moving forward from there.
And what were some of the sessions that you enjoyed the most? I know there's an education one, and we typically sponsor that because of our ties to education. But who were some of the leadership presenters that most resonated with you?
I really liked our nonprofit day that we went to the food bank and were able to volunteer there. We were able to visit Hope Village and see all the good work that they do. And I just think being able to see businesses like that in the community that make a difference in the impact of the community, and being able to be involved with that and see how we can help on an ongoing basis in those capacities was really beneficial for me. I loved the education session, of course. I'm the wife of an educator and obviously work for an educators credit union. So that was probably top as my favorite day, maybe. Being able to hear from our superintendent at the time, Dr. Smith. He's always been really supportive of what we've done here at the credit union and just education in general, but really being able to see the impact in the classroom, the impact for the students, what it means, for volunteering for the Education Foundation, volunteering for different programs that benefit the schools, which is really what our mission is here at the credit union, is being able to support those employees, and which in turn supports the students. So that was probably my favorite day.
And you're the third alumni of the program, I believe, that we've had here at work. And tell me, did you get to go on the Austin trip?
I did.
Tell us about how the program kind of culminates there.
That was an exceptional experience, just being able to have that time, that one-on-one time with different political figures, and really being able to ask questions and have the opportunity to have those conversations that you wouldn't otherwise have. And I think we put all of our leadership skills and knowledge. You kind of see how that plays out in those opportunities and in those conversations and stuff. And I thought that was really beneficial.
Yeah, I don't think people realize that our public elected officials are accessible to us. You don't have to just go to Austin, but even here locally,
Absolutely.
They are available. And if you have something to discuss with them, you should feel free to do that. Tell us who when you were up there, who really resonated with you? What was the message?
Larry Taylor was one that just off the top of my head. He's local here in the community, and he's just very supportive of specifically education was one big thing. He talked to us a lot about that. And so I would say him. That was a good experience to get to meet him. We did get to meet and interact with Dr. Bonin, and I have as well at other events, and he's just very personable, and I really enjoyed that as well.
Yeah, I think we're really blessed in the Clear Lake area with a lot of strong leadership, be it in education, be it political, be it scientific with NASA.
Yes.
I think our community kind of demands a pool of strong leaders. So when you finish this program, what do you think it prepares you for at work and in your personal life?
I think that first and foremost, the relationships that allowed me to build with a variety of different people, and the experience to do so with people that I wouldn't otherwise get to interact with. But I just think giving us the tools and the resources to be able to have that communication and that outreach in different areas of the community, whether it be like-minded folks who are in the same line of business as me that were in the program, people we interacted with that came and volunteered to lead the classes and things like that. I think those relationships and having those with people that are different than me, approach leadership different than me, and how I could learn from them and how I lead and how and in the position that I am here at the credit union, but just in a personal aspect as well, how I approach things in relationships and business in our community, how I support those things, and just how I can be a leader in the community as well.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to kind of groom that next level of leaders in our area. I've noticed a lot of them go on to end up in positions at the chamber. I think chair-elect, if I'm not mistaken, J.P. Morris is a grad and actually helped bring the program along the subsequent years. What are your aspirations, ambitions when it comes to leadership?
I think that I am very fortunate to work for an organization that supports my goals, in that just allowing me to go through this program and being supportive of that. And since I've been through that program, I did get a promotion here at the credit union into a more leadership position. I was a manager, and then now I'm currently a vice president. And I would just like to continue to grow in that aspect here at the credit union. Hopefully, maybe someday on the executive level, if that opportunity presents itself. I think that I've been very well prepared in this opportunity to be able to continue to grow into that in the future.
What would you say to a member of the chamber who's maybe on the fence about sending somebody to Leadership Clear Lake?
I would just speak to all of the benefits, and there's just such a diverse level of benefits. It's not just one thing. You're going to get so much out of it on a personal level, on a professional level, and just depending on what their goals are, kind of have that conversation. What are your goals? What are you looking for? What do you think you would go in, into Leadership Clear Lake with, and maybe tailor it to that, because there's something different for everybody depending on what they're looking for. And I think that's nice about the program too. It offers so much to everyone.
And I do remember your graduation and the little graduation ceremony that the chamber does. And it, more than just learning about leadership, and you talked about relationships, you guys looked like you might have had some fun along the way as well.
Absolutely.
So tell us about that. Tell us, because you probably created true friendships through this program, and you guys really seemed like a group of young people who really got along and probably had some fun along the way.
Yes, and those relationships, like I said, are probably one of the most important things, and so much so that there's a good majority of us that serve on the committee for Leadership Clear Lake, because we see such a value in that. And I've been able to maintain those relationships and lean on those people, and they on me for like different situations that we have come up. We kind of bounce things off of one another as far as, how would you approach this? Or, talking about like what we learned in class. We had a lot of, we call them sunshine yellows because that's the Insight Discovery color. We had a large majority of our class that was that, including myself. So naturally very outgoing, very personable people. And so I think that definitely helped those relationships and helped us kind of see the benefit of relationships of people that have different perspectives and stuff. So we've all maintained a very strong, we have a group that we constantly communicate with each other and stay up to date, and are very supportive of any growth in our careers, any growth personally, and things like that. So it's been very good.
That's awesome. Well, thanks, Shannon.
You're welcome.
Pleasure.
Yes.
So we've been talking about Leadership Clear Lake and a little backstory. Apparently, Leadership Clear Lake, the chamber had a program in the 80s, and somehow it went away. And now we have J.P. Morris, who is the dean of Leadership Clear Lake, who brought it all back. He was part of the first class. Tell me about what that experience was like, because you kind of got to see it from the ground up.
Yeah, great. And just to be clear, I wasn't in the first class in the 80s, but I was in the most recent first class that we did in the newest version of the program. And so we were doing a strategic plan, or the chamber was. It was Mike Furin was the incoming chairman of the board. And so they were doing all these focus groups for different industries and had all these meetings. And it didn't matter what the industry was or what the purpose of the meeting was. A theme was arising that we need younger folks to step up in leadership roles in the chamber, and we need a leadership class. And so Mike had asked me to lead the young professionals and to come up with a leadership program so that we could start pumping kind of new life into the chamber. And kind of the stories went that 20, 30 years ago when I joined the chamber, it was, vibrant young people. And now 20, 30 years later, it's the same folks.
Old people always say that.
Yes.
But no, it's a great program, because it has been nice to see younger board members come on board and offer a different perspective. So tell me what you think you personally learned that's going to help you as incoming chairman of the actual chamber.
Yeah, it's great. From the program itself, part of it was creating the program, and just the there's some leadership attributes to just kind of giving a directive and running with it and hoping it works out. And I see it at general membership luncheons. I see it in various divisions that are led by young professionals and graduates of Leadership Clear Lake. And so obviously the idea is that it's going to help with leadership within the chamber, but within the respective organizations and within the community with nonprofits. I know you're very active in the nonprofit world too, and we need folks stepping up and filling those roles.
I think if you were to ask any board, be it a nonprofit, be it a business, almost all of them will have that discussion about, why don't we get enough young people involved? And I think the program speaks to that. Tell me how it speaks to that.
Yeah, great. So, and sorry, I'm kind of not answering your question, but I think it goes hand in hand with the young professionals. I don't think you can really have one without the other, because the young professionals is a way for people just to get their foot in the door and be around other people that are in a similar situation. They might be too nervous to go to a business after hours or a membership luncheon and network, but they get comfortable enough to just get introduced to the chamber through young professionals. And then a lot of times that's where we recognize the future participants is through that. And then they're stepping up into the Leadership Clear Lake, they're stepping up into division chair roles, and eventually chairmans and executive committee members. So the class itself is kind of split up into what we kind of call field trips, just for lack of a better word, but that's going places like Johnson Space Center, like Ellington Field, like hearing from people in the community that are leaders for their various organizations, government officials, nonprofits, and kind of getting to hear their stories and see how our community works, what makes it tick. And then another aspect of it is more kind of the technical instructional side, which Ron Klinger, who's spoken at a few of our luncheons, he's sort of the tour guide, the facilitator, and so he kind of helps you to have the self-awareness of understanding how you lead, why you behave the way you do, how you interact with others. And then so kind of combining the two makes it really special.
Yeah, kind of like a academic side and then a practicum side where you actually get to see some of the concepts I guess you learned about.
Exactly.
That's part of where I wanted to go with this. Is it's such a unique program in that way, but Bill Staples, former president of UH Clear Lake, he always used to say that our community was kind of the envy of a lot of others. I think a lot of that has to do with, like you said, you take these field trips and you get to see people put leadership into practice. We're blessed in this region to have a lot of great leadership across different institutions, across different industries. Talk to me about how you feel the program is building that pipeline and refilling it for us.
Yeah, we are blessed to have universities, junior colleges that are top in the nation. We have obviously a big Johnson Space Center work population, but it's more diversified than it was in past years as far as our community. So it's not just a bunch of astronauts or academia, but it's really vibrant. It's Leadership Clear Lake caters to any industry and any role within an industry or within a company. There's something to take away from it, and I think that's once people start going through it and they start telling their story, giving testimonials, then others want to be a part of it. So it becomes something elite that we're getting. It makes it easier and easier every year to recruit because people want to be a part of it. They've heard the success stories and seen where people have gone after they've graduated.
Yeah, speaking of success stories, tell a business that may be listening that's on the fence about why they should send somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Give me your 30-second kind of elevator pitch and change some minds.
Okay, you might recognize this one. So a CEO and a CFO are talking about training and leadership development. And they say, well, what happens if we spend a bunch of money and then they turn around and leave? And the CEO says, well, what happens if we don't and they stay?
Perfect.
So,
I think I heard that before.
Yeah, I think you told me that. No, but we do have applications out there. We have flyers that kind of give a breakdown of the schedule. We generally want your supervisor to sign off on it. We want to know that they're obviously
you don't want any surprises.
Yes. And then so we'll have applications through the end of May. The program will begin the end of August. That'll be where we'll have our orientation. And then really from September to May, it's one full day. 1 month, one full day per month, usually the second Wednesday. It does include a trip to Austin, so we do it every other year, so it coincides with the state legislative session.
Yeah, and people get to see how the sausage is made.
That's right.
So,
and we do have opportunities for sponsorships. We have room for an underwriting sponsor, and you can participate in a specific day and be a sponsor.
I know we've sponsored the education one, which so there's sponsors for each day. You're sponsoring lunch. You get to say a little to the audience, and we are looking for that major sponsor. And go to the Clear Lake Area Chamber of Commerce website. It's clearlakearea.com. You'll find it there. You'll find the application. And I echo what J.P. says is I encourage people to apply and take advantage of really a great opportunity. Well, great job, J.P. And I hope you'll remain the dean for the years to come. The program, like you said, it's blossomed into probably the finest of its kind in the region. And when I talk to some of the people that have been through the program, the life lessons they get out of that are invaluable.
Well, great. Well, I appreciate it. It's no secret. I've always looked up to you and wanted to be like you. That's why I went to Southwestern, got into financial services, but I was just smart enough not to be a Man U fan. So